BhaktiVinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I almost Srila Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Chitanya Bhakti Siddhanta Sastaka Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini ki jai. most auspicious appearance dear Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakura ki. BhaktiVinoda ki. Gaur Premanande. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to some devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya. Namcheva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasan. Tato Jayamudiriye. Nastaprayeshu Bhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Tamashloke. Bhagavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Reading from Grantharaj Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text number 24. Prayers by Queen Kunti. Vishan Mahagne Purushara Darshanat.
Visham Mahapurusha Darshana
Sat Sambhaya Vanavasa Kritata. Mride Mride Aneka Maharata Rastrato.
Mride Aneka Maharata Strato
Drona Shataratas Chasma Hare Abhirakshitaha. Vishan Mahagne Purushara Darshanat.
Vishan Mahagne Purusha Darshana
Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krishataha.
Asasavaya Vanavasa Krishata
Mride Mride Aneka Maharata Shato. Drona Yastratatas Chasma Hare Abhirakshitaha. Vishan Mahagne Purushara Darshanat. Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krishataha. Mride Mride Aneka Maharata Shato. Draunya Astratasas Chasme Hare Abhirakshitaha. Who wants to try it? Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshana. Mride Mride Aneka Maharata
Droni Astratascha Hare Virakshita Visan Mahagne Purusha Darshana.
Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshana.
Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Kritsrata
Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krishataha.
Mride Mride Aneka Maharata Strato
Mride Mride Aneka Maharata Shato.
Drauni Astratascha Hare Virakshita
Drauni Astratas Chasme Hare Abhirakshitaha. Vishad, from poison. Maha Agni, from the great fire. Purusha Ada, man-eaters. Darshana, by combating. Asat, vicious. Sabaya, assembly. Vanavasa, exile to the forest. Krichata, suffering. Mrday. Again and again in battle. Anek, many. Maharat, great generals. Astrata, weapons. Droni, the son of Dronacharya. Astrata, from the weapons of. Cha, and Asma, indicating past tense. Hare, oh my Lord. Abhiraksita, protected completely. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. BhaktiVinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. My dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poisoned cave, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from suffering during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. Please repeat, my dear Krishna. Your Lordship has protected us. From a poisoned cave. From a great fire. From cannibals. From the vicious assembly. From sufferings. During our exile. In the forest. And from the battle. Where great generals fought. And now you have saved us. From the weapon of Ashwatthama. Purport. The list of dangerous encounters is submitted here, and Devaki was once put into difficulty by her envious brother. Otherwise, she was well. But Kunti Devi and her son were put into difficulty, one difficulty after another, for years and years together. They were put into trouble by Duryodhana and his party due to the kingdom, and each and every time, the sons of Kunti were saved by the Lord. Once Bhima was administered poison in cake. Once they were put into a house made of shellac and set afire. Once Draupadi was dragged out, and attempts were made to insult her by stripping her naked in a vicious assembly of the Kurus. The Lord saved Draupadi by supplying an immeasurable length of cloth, and Duryodhana's party failed to see her naked. Similarly, when they were exiled in the forest, Bhima had to fight with the man-eater demon Hidimba Rakshasa, but the Lord saved him. So it was not finished there. After all these tribulations, there was a great battle of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna had to meet great generals as Drona, Bhishma, and Karna, and all-powerful fighters. And at last, even when everything was done away with, and there was the Brahmastra released by the son of Dronacharya to kill the child within the womb of Uttara. So the Lord saved the only surviving descendant, the king of Kurus, Maharaj Parikshit. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Nadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatam Nitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Suryavadi Paschatya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from a poison cape, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from suffering during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. Oh, we have saved, and now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. So we continue Queen Kunti's prayers. Krishna is very mystical and very sweet. So after yesterday's class, I was feeling I was lamenting that I wanted to, in reading the verse, discuss this Rishikesh. But I didn't. I don't know, I got distracted and then, so this morning, while I'm, getting ready, I always listen to something. So I listened to a Prabhupada lecture today, and guess what he spoke on? This verse.
Okay.
And he spoke on Rishikesh.
Randomly?
Totally random.
Oh, wow.
The title of the verse was not this verse. It said enviousness is the obstacle in bhakti. I, clicked it and was listening while I was brushing and all this. And he spoke on it. So I said, how mystical the Supreme Lord is. But it shows that they are truly dynamic and interacting. It's stunning. So let's talk a little bit about Rishikesh. And then we'll talk about this verse a little bit, but then also I want to spend some time discussing, with your permission, Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakura. Because it's his auspicious appearance day, and so we should glorifying Shrimadbhagavatam, what we call Grantha Bhagavat, and the person Bhagavat are non-different. So the Mahabhagavat personalities, the great acharyas, glorifying them, and glorifying Grantharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam, is one and the same, or equal in importance. So we'll split today, given the auspicious day. So Rishikesha, this is a term which means that Krishna is the master of our senses. He is the owner of our senses. And what does that mean? Well, we have different senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, sense of touch, right? And we use the senses to perceive things in the world, right? I see a beautiful flower, I see a beautiful landscape, I see whatever. I perceive that. I use my smell to smell various, incense or various foods preparations, and I'm perceiving the present. If I smell something foul, I can understand, something unclean is here, right? So we use senses like that, hearing, all these. And who gave us the senses? Krishna. So we think we are the master of our senses. We get to control. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell, taste? And of course, we are given the free will to choose how to use our senses. But the devotee understands that Krishna is Rishikesh. He is the master of our senses. And so that we should surrender the use of our senses to Krishna. And that is how one finds perfection of life. When one uses God's given senses in his service. And that is the only logical conclusion. Right? If I am using someone's thing, I have to use it according to their desire, because they are the owner. We had this conversation last week, right? Because Krishna is the owner, he is the director of everything's use, how everything should be used. So similarly, he is the owner of our senses, because he gave them to us. And so the devotee uses the senses in the service of Krishna and only in the service of Krishna. And that is the understanding of Rishikesh. I'll just quickly summarize what Srila Prabhupada gave a really nice 5, 10, 7-minute explanation of this term. And it broadens to understand how we become connected with Krishna. And someone like Kamsa, who was very envious of Krishna, right? He was threatened by Krishna. He did not use his senses in such a way, and it led to his destruction and ultimately his demise. So here in this verse, Draupadi is saying, "My dear Krishna." Very sweet, right? Because Krishna is our most dear relationship. Because Krishna, being the unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead, is actually our only protector. Bhoktaram Virgintapasam Sarva Lokameshram Suridam Sarva Bhutanam Yakamam Shantim Richati. How to find peace, Shantim? You have to know Krishna is our protector. No one else can protect us like Krishna, right? Even the most loving mother and father, with all of their effort, can they guarantee protection of their child? No. Desire is there, but what is missing? Ability. It's limited, right? What is Krishna's ability?
Unlimited.
Unlimited. It's unlimited. And what is the nature of his love for us?
Unlimited.
Why? How do we know? Shastra. He just says, Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. Says, I am the well-wisher of all Sarva Bhutanam, all living entities. How else can we logically understand he loves us? He resides in our heart as Paramatma. We left Krishna out of envy. We said, why you? Why not me? So out of envy we left. If we get into a fight with a friend and we start criticizing them and leave, how will they respond? Oh well, good for you. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's what we said. Well, what did Krishna do? He said, okay, you are leaving me? Don't worry, I'm coming with you. I'm going to sit quietly in your heart as Paramatma. And at any moment you wish to come back to me, I'll be right next to you. I won't interfere with what you want to do, but you may forget me, but I will never forget you. Never forget you. Logically, he says, Aham Bija Prajaha Pita. He says, I am this seed-giving father. What father doesn't love his child? If a father has 10 children, does he love all 10? If he has 1 million, so Krishna, being the seed-giving father, that loving nature is the natural disposition. Because we are Mamaya Vamsho Jiva Loke. We are the fragmental part of Krishna. So anyone who has offspring, right? Even the cockroach loves its baby cockroaches. The cow loves its calf. Krishna loves his children. Who are his children?
All living entities.
All living entities. Not just us as humans. All living entities. Right, so his love for us is unbreakable. So with knowing that his love for us is unbreakable, and his ability is unbreakable, where else one should seek shelter?
Right.
Is there any other logical place? In fact, if I may speak in an extreme way, to seek shelter anywhere else is ignorance.
Stupidity, right?
Stupidity, great. I'll take that word even better.
Uncivilized.
Uncivilized. Because no one can protect us like that. And here we have evidence, right? We still want, because we have the logic,
Yeah, right.
right? We got the logic. Now we want still, like, are we sure? Okay, let's see it in action. How many times Queen Kunti was protected? Once? Twice? Thrice? Over and over and over again. Devaki was put into tribulations too, but once for a compressed amount of time. But Queen Kunti, year after year after year, Srila Prabhupada says. And in all varieties of attempts, who was always there? Krishna. And that's why we know Queen Kunti prays, right? Krishna, you give me calamity after calamity. Why? Because at each of these moments of calamity, who showed up? Krishna. Krishna showed up and protected. And in the moments of calamity, what happened to Queen Kunti? Her meditation, her surrender, her dependence on Krishna increased. So Krishna, sometimes we wonder, if Krishna is the supreme controller, why he's giving his devotees so much difficulty? We should not understand. Now this is something very important. We call this kind of like dual track of understanding. When we see another devotee suffering, we don't see that as, oh man, that's their past karma. No, we know. Krishna has a perfect plan for them. Mm-hmm. What karma Queen Kunti could have? The Pandavas. They are pure devotees. What karma Srila Prabhupada could have? He is a pure devotee, a Sanapati Bhakta, coming from the spiritual world. How much difficulty Srila Prabhupada had?
A lot.
He was suffering from excruciating seasickness. He had 2 heart attacks. Just on the journey here. Once he came here, he was, his apartment was stolen, his typewriter and his manuscript for Bhagavad Gita stolen. Second time he lost his manuscript. He was chased out of a loft he was staying at by a crazy man. Threatened, his life was threatened. Why? Because to the pure devotee, those moments of suffering explode their surrender and love for Krishna. Because they know their only shelter is not their 2 fists, not their insurance policy, not some governmental protection. There is Krishna. So when we see the pure devotee, going through these, we should understand that. Of course, when we go through suffering, why we are suffering? Our past karma. Our past karma. No other reason. But as Krishna protected Queen Kunti and the Pandavas, Krishna will also protect us. So when we go through difficulties, struggles in spiritual life, we should remain steadfast. And in fact, we should increase our practice, our sadhana. When times are difficult, we should increase our spiritual practice. Because we know that is our only shelter. And when we have some suffering, some setbacks, just compare to what Queen Kunti faced. I may have some skin disease, I may have some heart issue, may have some blood sugar. Okay, I can't eat gulab jamuns. Great. Queen Kunti's house was set on fire. Her daughter-in-law was so heinously mistreated. You know, Bhimsen had to fight terrible demons. I mean, the difficulties they faced. Then we say, oh, mine's not so bad. Mine's not so bad. So we can understand that and have faith by studying this, that Krishna is our protector, our only protector. And if we follow this principle of Rishikesha, that my senses, use them only in Krishna's service, then we'll be protected also. And that what it means is that Krishna doesn't say that we stop our senses. Krishna says you redirect your senses. Right now our senses are attracted to the dull material world. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The whole of society revolves around these four things. And Krishna says that these four things, these are all prominent also in animal life. But what in a human form of life, what distinguishes our intelligence, to know that the senses should use not to eat nicely, sleep nicely, mate nicely, and defend nicely, but to see the forms of the Lord, to hear the pastimes of the Lord, to honor the prasadam cooked for the Lord, eaten by the Lord, and saved for us. Right? So these senses should be engaged in this way. And if we do, then we'll, like Queen Kunti, have this protection from all the calamities. Because, you know, Queen Kunti is saying over and over again, you save us from time immemorial. Right? So this is the way we go. So let us talk a little bit now about Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakura. We pray to BhaktiVinoda Thakura on his appearance today.
You won't want trouble, please. Okay.
Yes. Namo BhaktiVinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupa Nuga Valayate. This is the pranam prayer to Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur. So, we have to kind of rewind the clock a little bit. I haven't started.
Okay.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the 1486 in our Western calendar to establish the process of devotional service. He is Krishna himself. He is Avatari. The source of all avatars has appeared now. Himself. In the mood of the topmost devotee, Srimati Radharani, to personally teach how to practice bhakti. In the Bhagavad Gita and in Krishna Lila, what we are studying here, Krishna spoke everything. He spoke everything. And in this Gita Upanishad, the essence of all Vedic literature is condensed into 700 beautiful verses of what to do. Sarva dharma prityaja mam ekam saranam vraja. How do you do all that? Patram pushpam phalam toyam. So simple, he gave everything. But still we are so foolish that we can't follow. So Krishna said, okay, I have told everything, but I didn't show how to do it by example. Let me come again.
Okay.
And he comes again to show the practice of devotional service. And through his Gaura Leela, 48 years on this planet, he performed so many pastimes and activities to teach us how to practice not only bhakti, but the highest rung of bhakti. There is gradations of devotional service. And how to reach the highest platform of bhakti, he gave with the simplest of process. Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Why he is called Mahavananaya, most merciful? Because he gave the highest and most valuable thing in the entire of creation with the simplest of process. And he gave it to everyone. In fact, the more disqualified you were, the more fallen you were first in line. That's why he's Mahavadhanaya. He didn't say, okay, if you're qualified, I'll give you this secret. Or to achieve this greatest of all things, you have to endure intense austerity and great difficulty. No. The greatest with the simplest and the most fallen first in line. What could be more Mahavadhanaya? Most merciful. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings were given to save the world. And it is said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appears, Kali Yuga, in each yuga, the quality degrades. Starting from Satyuga. At the beginning of Satyuga is the best, most purest of time. And as each yuga progresses, we lose one pillar of dharma. Truthfulness, austerity, cleanliness, and mercy. So these, as yugas progress. So Kali Yuga, now we are like down here. And it is falling. But during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, it curves the other way. And for the next 10,000 years, actually Bhakti and Kali Yuga will advance. We are not experiencing the real Kali Yuga. As disastrous as it is, just pick up a newspaper to see how sick this place is.
Right.
This is not even Kali Yuga, because we are in a golden era of Gaura Leela. 10,000, only 540 years have elapsed, so just under 9,500 years are remaining. If you want any motivation to finish your business now, we have appeared in the most auspicious of all times in the material world. Better than even Satyuga, Treta Yuga, or even Dwapara Yuga, is this period within Kali Yuga. And this happens in this Kali Yuga once every 994 Kali Yugas. Not every Kali Yuga. Because Krishna only appears once in a day of Brahma. Not every day. So it's like the most rarest of rare. But still we think, I'll be serious tomorrow. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to save the world with this philosophy. And after he left, the next acharyas took over the movement, led by Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami, and then he trained up many great disciples, primarily of which Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, and Shyamananda Pandit. And they carried on, began book distribution in earnest, those three, and the movement was going. But after some time, particularly after the departure of Janava Mata, the eternal consort of Lord Nityananda, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya that Krishna himself came to establish began to deteriorate. And the pure teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became twisted, adulterated. And many sahajiyas began to propagate Chaitanya philosophy in a perverted way. They were taking the messages and instituting their own agenda and thus misrepresenting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pure teachings. And it became so bad that actually the philosophy was unrecognizable. And it was a very desperate condition. So this happened from about, in our modern calendar, you can say the 1600s to the 1700s. This degradation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. So what happened? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent one of his eternal associates to come and re-establish Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pure teachings. And who was that? Srila BhaktiVinoda. So he appeared on September 2nd, 1838. So you can say, like 350 years after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approximately. And he appeared in a very aristocratic family in West Bengal. His birth name was Kedarnath Datta. And he was extremely intelligent as a child, very, very brilliant scholar. And I don't have time to give a whole biography on him. Maybe we'll have a class on Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakura this Sunday.
Okay.
But this highlights some of his key contributions. So he is considered, we said in his pranam prayers, Gaura Shakti Swarupaya. He is the embodiment of Gaura Shakti, of the energy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is Rupa Nuga Varayate. He is the follower of the Rupa Nugas. He is a follower of Rupa Goswami and the Sad Goswamis. So there are the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established were the acharyas who formalized the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur is considered the 7th Goswami. Why? One of his major contributions is he wrote profusely about the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So to re-establish the actual correct purport, he wrote hundreds of books about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. Some of the principal books, one of the most, is the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And this book, he sent internationally. He sent to McGill University in Montreal and also to London. And coincidentally, what year he sent those books? 1896.
Wow.
What is so special about 1896? That is the appearance year of Srila Prabhupada.
Wow.
And of course it was Srila Prabhupada who went to Montreal, almost established ISKCON as his world headquarters. And it was after that stay there, after he had some visa issues, the movement really exploded. So it was Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur who wrote profusely, studying Chaitanya Charitamrita. He actually rediscovered Chaitanya Charitamrita. He found it and established it. And he wrote profusely to re-establish it. So this is one of his main contributions. He also studied extensively to identify the actual appearance place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because that also was lost. And he studied old maps and old logs and discovered, and to confirm, he took his spiritual master, Jagannath Das Babaji, in a basket. He was over 125 years old at this time. And when he went to Yogpit, Jagannath Das Babaji jumped out of the basket and started dancing in ecstasy. And so Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur established that this is the actual appearance place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he made the very bold proclamation that was, at that time, crazy and unthinkable. Think about this. This is, in the 1800s. There's no world travel at this point. There isn't. And he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's proclamation that in every town and village the holy names will be chanted will come true. Because Krishna said. And soon there will be Americans and Chinese and Russians and Africans and all walks of life dancing through the streets of Mayapur. Mayapur was like a remote village. Most people in India didn't even know Mayapur. And he said there will be an international flood of Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees. And what's happening today? There's like 5 groups of international devotees at Navadip Parikrama every year. A whole Russian group, whole English group, all Indian. So we're seeing it. And it was BhaktiVinoda Thakur who made this broad proclamation. He established our Namahatta program. This idea of going kind of community to preach. We can say somewhat the basis of our home program preaching. That was started by the BhaktiVinoda Thakur. BhaktiVinoda Thakur, he was so expert. He actually held the highest position an Indian could hold in the British government. He was a magistrate. So he was like a luminary, very wealthy, very sophisticated, and very expert. In fact, he was able to complete his work in 4 hours that other magistrates would take days to complete. Why? Because he wasn't using the remainder of his time to relax at the club, go to the beach, because he was chanting 64 rounds daily. He was writing profusely. He was preaching, doing his kirtan. He had a family, he had a huge family. Maintaining all of this. He was living in the main road of Jagannath Puri. So he was an extremely elevated grihastha. He was so valued to the British government that when he said that he was now going to retire, they begged him, don't retire. He said, no, now it's time for me to practice spiritual life more seriously. He was already done. And what they did, I said, no, you can go to Navadvip and wherever you live, and we will build a train line. They put a train to his house. It's still there. If you go to his house, you can see this train line that would pick him up in the morning and take him to Krishnananda. I think Krishnananda.
West Bengal.
Yeah. I'm forgetting the city. It's not important.
From Navadvip back to West Bengal.
Navadvip is in West Bengal. West Bengal is a state.
Okay.
Yeah. So just nearby, but so he would not have to drive to the office or take horse carriage. A train came and picked him up and dropped him off just for him, single purpose. So valuable he was to the government. What his real value is? He begged to Lord Jagannath. My dear Lord Jagannath, I am limited in what I can do. Please give me a son who can take this philosophy further, who can now spread it. He established all the philosophy, but he needed somebody to now take it out into the world. And he begged Lord Jagna. And that prayer, of course, was answered. And Vimala Prasad was born, who later became Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada. So our presence here in the home of Srila Prabhupada is due to the intense efforts of laying the foundation for the revival of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. That labor done by Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur. And his appearance day is today. Very auspicious day.
Yes.
If you like, you can observe fasting until noontime for his appearance day. You want to know more contributions?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
He is embedded in our life in ways we don't even realize. Maybe we don't realize. Every day we sing Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Who is the author of that? Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur. We pay homage to Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur before every class. Srila Prabhupada established that this should be sung before every class. And that was written by Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur. Maybe even more important to us, the most important prayer in our movement, Shariya Vidya Jad Rende Tahika Jive Phile Vise Sagre Tar Madhya Jivati Lobo Maisudamati Takiti Takotita Samsare Krishna Boro Doya Moy Odi Bala Jiva Doy Swapasana Dilo By Senanata Parada Krishna Gunagal Premidako Chitanimitai. Before honoring Prasadam, we chant this prayer. Right? Who is the author of that? Just to clarify, the Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Bhavani Vaishnava, that prayer is written by Srila Vyasadeva, which comes in Mahabharata. But the second stanza, Shariya Vidya, it's actually written in Bengali. That prayer was given to us by Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur. So every time we sit in the class, we can remember BhaktiVinoda Thakur. And 3 times a day, every time we honor Prasadam, we can remember Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur as the great Acharya, the 7th Goswami, who re-established the pure teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and gave us the opportunity to practice this most merciful, love from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jai. Shkantaraj Shrimadbhagavatam ki. Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur appearance day ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Any questions, discussion, comments?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks, Prabhu. I was about to ask about BhaktiVinoda Thakur's appearance there. Could you please speak about, but you already spoke.
That's why I spoke, because Krishna told me through you. Okay, it's your birthday today.
Oh, today's your birthday?
So happy birthday to Ajay Prabhu. May his wishes be fulfilled. May he remain an eternal servant of Shri Shri Radha Kunda Vihari under the shelter and guidance of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara in association of all Gaura Bhaktivinodas. Any other questions, comments? Yes, ma'am.
Not a question, just a comment. Basically, what I was speaking to you about outside, it's just reaffirming confirmation, like how you said, what you was looking up and then it's right there. After you watch the video, exactly the same thing, that direction, confirmation. So, how you said, trials and tribulations that devotees go. You're not supposed to carry a heavy heart, not supposed to burst into a theory, but to accept it and know and believe and trust that Krishna, so like we said, always there, sees all, knows all, and just know that the bright side, instead of embedding yourself into the superficial things are not important.
Yeah, in fact, I can maybe take that just a half step further. Not only accept it, but I would say that we should embrace it. And there's the reason. The difficulty we face is the glue that keeps us at the feet of Radha Kunjayani. Because when things are going really well, what happens? We tend to forget. So in fact, we should embrace, Krishna, thank you for bringing this challenge into my life, because it keeps me at your lotus feet, and it keeps me in reminding me that I am in a very dependent position, dependent on your mercy. So embracing these challenges, and even, when we get into devotional communities, there's always going to be some interpersonal conflicts. Right? We all have variety of personalities. And so some personalities will mesh, and some will not. And that's natural. And we should accept that. And in our devotional service, you will see. There will always be some break, I call it. Someone who's trying to disrupt what we are doing. The person is our great well-wisher. Indirect.
Yes.
Indirect. Because this person will force us to be humble. Because they will give us great difficulty. We'll be tempted to reciprocate. But we know, if we really want to please Krishna, what to do? Be humble. Surrender to that person. Show love to that person. It's easy to show love to somebody who loves you. Right? But when you show love to somebody who's being inimical to you, that really pleases. Why? Because Krishna knows that's also Krishna's child. And you are showing compassion to that person. Overlooking what they are doing to you, that really pleases Krishna. So if our goal is to please Krishna, then we don't worry that this person is criticizing me in front of others, making lies about me, disrupting my service. No, we don't care about any of that. So these difficulties, these obstacles in our spiritual life, when we face them, particularly we should actually understand and embrace that as a great blessing from Krishna to help us purify and detach from the attachment we have to I, me, and mine in bhakti. I want to do this, I want that, and forgetting, no, actually I'm working for Krishna's pleasure. So were it not for those persons in our spiritual journey, our purification actually would take much longer. But we have to be careful not to let that obstacle become the demise of our bhakti. If I start fighting back, I start reciprocating. My dad would always tell me, you use my legal name, Namish. If a dog barks at you, are you going to bark back? Don't reciprocate. So, unfortunately, I have a dog-like mentality. But I pray that I also can take this understanding that, these situations and circumstances, we should embrace them. and understand they are for our benefit. Otherwise, why Krishna would have brought that circumstance out? He is Ishvara Parama. If he didn't want that to happen, could he not? Of course. But when he sees ourselves being attached, sometimes proud, oh, I am doing this, I am doing that. Krishna, out of his mercy, gives us a slap. Right? When mother slaps a child, why? It's out of love. Because she wants to correct the child. Sometimes speaking to a child, don't do, isn't sufficient. Sometimes we have to raise the stakes a little bit. So when we face a difficulty, we understand. Krishna's telling us, don't do, but we're still doing. So now he has to raise the stakes a little bit. So we tell Krishna, Krishna, I'm weak. Give me a gentle slap. not big ones. Okay. Thank you. Grantara Shrimadbhagavatam ki. Appearance day of Srila BhaktiVinoda Thakur ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavendra.